example, you can see that a boy is a noun. But you can also place a before laughing, right? But it's not a noun. Okay, in the later part, you have some questions, the possible questions that can come regarding noun, right? We all know nouns, but you might have questions regarding this, that what sort of questions will we face in the exam, that what kind of question relating to noun we can find. So here you can find the types of noun in detail. That's one. Then the sign of noun. What are the signs that indicates that okay, it might or might not be a noun? Then there is the position of noun, that where does it sits or stand in a sentence. Then what kind of noun it is. Like you will have to identify that what kind of noun it is, and you will do that when you know the right classifications. So can you tell me how many types of noun are there? Anyone?
5.
5. Okay.
Two
Anything
types.
else? 2 types. Okay. You both are right. Let me show you how, because mainly there are 2 types of noun, right?
6 types.
So, yeah, mainly there are 2 types of noun. What are they? Countable and uncountable. So, countable noun, if you go to definition, you can find that anything that can be counted. Simply, countable noun is anything that we can count, right? For example, a pen, we can count a pen. Then how many pens are there? Of course. Then book, of course, you can count books. Then how many computers are there in the room? If there is 1 or 2, you can count it. So whatever that can be counted is basically countable noun. It's the easiest part, right? Then there is uncountable noun, things that cannot be counted, right? For example, milk, you cannot count milk. Okay, honey, then kindness, kindness, we cannot count kindness. It might be like, if even though we can say that we can measure kindness, to be honest, we cannot measure that because it can vary the level of kindness. So it can't be counted. And joy, air, all of these things. And then there is okay. And another one said, so mainly 2 types, okay? But somebody else said that there can be 5 kinds of noun. What do you have to say about that?
I said 6 types.
I didn't get you. Louder, please.
Sorry.
Yes. What did you say?
I said 6 type of noun.
6 types of, okay. So let us check what's there. So 5 kinds of noun according to characteristics. Now, what do you understand by the word characteristics? Do you know the meaning of characteristics? বৈশিষ্ট্য, right? So বৈশিষ্ট্য অনুযায়ী 5 প্রকারের নাউন আছে, আমরা একটু দেখি। A common noun, so a common noun, right? So can anyone tell me all the names of the 5 kinds of noun? 2 of them are written here already, yeah.
Common noun? Ma'am, common.
Yes.
Proper noun, material noun, abstract noun,
collective noun.
Collective noun.
Yes, collective noun. Okay, thank you very much. Yes. So let us have a look. Yes.
Verbal noun.
Verbal noun. Okay, that's the different portion you are. That is, you're going to the phrase section. So here, let us just give a read throughout these 5 kinds of noun, and then later we will know the other kinds as well. Yes, there are other kinds. So if you just want to say that, if you just want to count the nouns according to the categories, there will be so many of them. But according, as we have seen first, that mainly there are two, and now there are, according to characteristics, there are five. Okay. And all these nouns are all interconnected to each other. For example, we can like put common noun inside countable noun. So there will be like interconnections. We will see the interconnections later. First, let us see the definitions. A common noun is a general name of a person, right? General name in general, a place, thing, ideas, and obviously not capitalized, because when you write man, it is not specified, okay? So if that is not specified, that is a common noun. Animal, you don't know how many animals are there, or you don't know that which particular animal is there. You just know that there is animal. So it's not specified. So it's a common noun. Okay. So man, animal, food, fruit, country, river, all of these are common noun. If the river is named, then that would be a proper noun. As we can see the definition of proper noun. Proper noun is the specific name of a particular person, place, things, idea, and is always capitalized. A proper noun will always be capitalized, because when there is a common noun, river, you don't know which river that is. But when the name of the river is mentioned, for example, Rupsha, it will always be capitalized, right? The first letter, and the names will be specific to the person, place, or thing. Okay, so have you understood these two kinds of nouns? Now, we will see a difference here, common noun versus proper noun. If we look at that, see, in common noun, it's not specified, so there will be teacher. And in proper noun, it will be specified. So the name of the teacher will be mentioned, and of course, it will be capitalized. For example, Mrs. Morrow is the name of the teacher. So the name is always capitalized. The student, for example, is a common noun. Student, you don't know how many students are there, or you don't know the specific name of the student. So that would be common noun. But if the name is specified, then that would be proper noun, and of course capitalized in the beginning. You are given the school, so you don't know which is school, but when the name of the school is specified, it will be proper noun. So that is the differences. Let's go in the next one. There is collective noun. So you know that what's a collective noun is. Noun that indicates to a group of things, right? A team, rather, a crew, communities, class, a group of people constitute a class. So a team, there will always be a group of people in a team. So indicates to a group of thing or people, right? So that's common noun. The next one is material noun. We all know what material noun is. This is like the simplest kind of noun. Things that can be touched or seen or measured, right? You can see a computer, you can touch it, you can measure that how many liters of milk are there. It can be seen and touched. Water, mobile, everything. So that was material noun. Then there is abstract noun. Now, abstract noun is the exact opposite of material noun, right? So in material noun, what did we saw? That things that can be measured, right? And here, things that cannot be measured or seen. For example, love. You cannot measure love, right? And if you have noticed that some of the examples I mentioned in the beginning, that all of these are interrelated. Now, how this is interrelated? You can see that love can be measured, but love is an abstract noun according to that. Love can also be an uncountable noun, right? Darkness can also be an uncountable noun. Exactly like that, water can be an uncountable noun, right? So that's why I said that all of this are interrelated. Okay, so then we have gone through this. Okay, the next one is singular and plural nouns. We all know what that is. So there is a differences shown here. Basically, if you make it plural, it becomes a plural noun. If that's singular, then it's a singular noun. So plural noun usually ends with these things and at the end, just like plural verbs, right? Plural anything that ends with s or es in the end, just like that, plural nouns also end with s or es in the end. Okay. All right. So that was the end of it. You are 17 of you are here. So did you all get a clear idea about the classification of nouns?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you have any problems regarding this?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Are do you need to take the notes?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I will probably send it to you later on. Do you have any question regarding to this?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So now we will, as we have said that in around 10 to 15 minutes in each class, we will discuss our grammar parts, but there are other sections in our syllabus. And now that we are online, have you been informed from the office that how long we will be online?
No, ma'am.
No, you haven't. So as we are now online, there will be no labs. So we need to cover the syllabus soon as possible before your midterm. So we need to rush things a little. For that, we will move to the other reading comprehensions part. We haven't discussed that part at all in this class, I believe. Today, we will get to know some reading comprehensions. So first of all, there is scheming. Have you heard about this? Yes. Have you heard about this? Do you have any idea what that is?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No. No problem. So this is one kind of reading strategy. Okay. The spelling is, you can write it down, Skimming. Skimming. Skimming means pore fella. Okay. There will be many reading strategies that you will have to know, that we will let you know in the class. But first of all, the first category of reading strategy is skimming. Skimming means pore fella. Okay. This is one way of reading your text. This is just a way of reading your text in the shortest way possible. It's one of the strategies and selective reading method. Okay. Where you need to focus just on the main idea of it. Okay. Just to get the main idea of the text, you use skimming to read out your text. Okay. In your syllabus, there are some more. There's skimming, there's scanning, and some more points. You will get to know it later. But for today's class, we will just focus on skimming. So if you ask for the definition, I'll see that it's really easy. That skimming is a strategy. It's a reading method which is focused on to get the main idea of the text. Okay. Are you getting my point?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So whenever you're reading a huge text, for example, an article, for example, you're reading for example, 100 long pages of PDF. Okay. Somebody is trying to text. Do you have something to say to everybody?
I think he is testing.
MD Tasnim Khan, ID number 18. What are you trying to say? Yes. Have you mistakenly texted here instead of your private group?
Yes, ma'am. Mistake.
Yeah, I've got your point. People do that in an online class, but you need to, if you do that, that's all right. Everybody does that. I know that you have been texting in your personal groups, but do it in a smart way, not in front of the teacher. Okay. Yeah, make sounds, but before that, mute your microphone. Can you all hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
You're very much less responsive. Okay, so what have you understand about skimming so far? What do you think it is? Did you get the definition? Have you understood the definition or should I repeat it?
ম্যাম আবার একটু বলেন বুঝি নাই
Okay, no problem. So I said skimming is a reading strategy. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. So, what do you think a strategy is? Strategy অর্থ কৌশল, তাই তো? কোনো কিছু করার একটা টেকনিক, একটা প্ল্যান করে ফেলা আগে থেকে, কৌশল। So, পড়ে ফেলার কৌশল, skimming. Okay, it's a reading strategy. It's a method in which you only focus on the main idea of the text. Okay. So when you're reading a text, you need, if you follow skimming, you will only focus on the main idea of the text. Now, how? Without reading every word, you can say that sometimes we read every word, even then we can't understand the meaning. Now, how without reading every word, how are you going to understand the meaning? Well, in skimming, you don't just skip everything, you just read out the important details. Okay. You don't read every data, you can only focus on the important ones. So instead of close reading every word, okay, you just focus on the introduction. For example, if you read the introduction, you get pretty much a good idea that what's inside of the text. So you focus on the introduction, and mostly you focus on the chapter summary that you do probably in most of your courses. Go to get the gist of the story, and probably the first and last sentence of the paragraph. You know, if there is a paragraph, you read the 2 or 3 lines in the beginning, and then you get an idea that okay, what the paragraph is about. Then you read the last couple of lines to understand the fact that, okay, so this is the result and this is the learning of this particular topic. So when you sometimes maybe when you're reading an article or things like that, you read the heading of the article. Sometimes when you read newspaper, for example, you at the front page, you don't just skip the front page, you read the headings only, so that you get an idea that whatever there is in that particular page. Sometimes you read the bold words. So in case of skimming, you don't close read every word. You don't really try to find out the meaning of every word. You get the gist of the text.
Yes, ma'am.
So you might be thinking that it's sort of fucky baji, but it's not. The thing is, when you're going into more detail, okay, of course you will have a better understanding, but skimming is a form of previewing, okay? So before the entire and intense view of the text, you get a previewing that can help you to better comprehend with what you need, okay? For example, before watching a film, right? Whenever a film comes, you watch the trailer first, don't you? Even when you're scrolling through Netflix, sometime if you want to watch a film, before going like to download or to watch the film, you try to read the reviews, you try to watch the trailer. In case of reading an English text, that's what we call skimming. Try to get the gist of the text. Okay. Okay, so it's important for what? For knowing what you need to learn, because you do not need to learn everything of a text. Just finding out which part you need the most. Skimming helps you to understand the overall points, okay, the relevance that, okay, for example, you are now reading, you have this English quotes with you. It's a communicative English, yes, but we are when we are going into the detail, you are reading every bit of, like, every parts of speech, you're reading every element of the grammar, you're reading articles, you're reading prepositions. To do this intense reading, to go into the intense detail, you might be thinking that, okay, how are we going to use this to communicate? Like, we have been reading articles since we were in third grade, probably. But now, it's still now we are studying this, and there must have been some reason, okay? So that you can, it's given there so that you can use it in your real life more and in your communication more. So to understand each rules of each grammar, you lost your motive in the way of what for you are reading this. Like, what is your intention, for example, or what is your purpose of reading this? You lose your purpose in the way. If there are 20 rules of a grammar item, you don't need to read the 20 rules of the grammar. You just, for your communication, to make your communication skill better, you just need to learn 5 to 6 rules, maybe. So in skimming, why have we put skimming in there? Because we want you to know, to find out those 6 rules that you need the most in your communication. You don't need to go through all the 60 rules of a particular grammar. Just find out the 6 rules that we use the most. When we studied tense, we discussed tense in the class a little bit, right? In our previous class. So when we were discussing tense, what we were trying to do, we were trying to figure out that which tense are used most in our regular life, right? So why, for that, we didn't have to just memorize and strictly remember all the 12 rules of tenses. Because among those 12 rules, we need to find out those 2 that we use the most in our regular life. So we need to remember those 2, like all the time. We need to grab a good, like we need to have a good grab on those and use it to be able to use it most. First thing we need to do is to find out that which rule we are going to need the most. So that's what we did in the last class in tense when we were reading. We did this skimming part because we figured out which one of the rules we need the most. And do you remember which one of the rules that we needed the most? Which one? Simple and continuous, right? We are mostly using simple and past, and simple and continuous. So these are the things. This is a part of the scheming where your codes just require you to find out the most important ones. Find out, like among a huge text, we want you to figure out those important parts that are needed for you the most in case of communication or in case of writing, in case of listening. So that is what scheming is about, to find out not all the 12, we want to study all the 12 rules. We will just focus on studying those 2 that are needed the most. And to find out those 2, we need to skim through the text. Okay. All right. So, yeah. Do you have a next class? After this class, when do you have a next class?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Tripoli class আছে 12টায়।
12. Okay, so I believe that all of you are here. So I will take the attendance, the most important part in your class. So yeah, please respond according to your roll number. Roll number 1. Are you present? Number 1. Present.
roll number 1 কোনোদিনই আসেনি।
কখনোই আসেনি?
না ম্যাম, কোনোদিন ক্লাস করেনি।
কিন্তু আমি তো দেখতে পাচ্ছি অ্যাটেন্ডেন্স দিয়েছে সে 15 তারিখে।
রোল নাম্বার 1?
রোল নাম্বার 1 15 তারিখে প্রেজেন্ট ছিল। Then what is this?
ম্যাম কোনো ভুল হতে পারে, কারণ আমার জানা মতে রোল নাম্বার 1 কখনোই কোনো ক্লাসেই প্রেজেন্ট ছিল না।
Okay. Then let us move on. Roll number 2. Okay. Roll number 3.
Yes, ma'am.
It's 26th, right? 26th January. Okay, so roll number 3 is present. Roll number 4.
Yes, ma'am.
5. 6.
Yes, ma'am.
7.
Yes, ma'am.
8. 8 is absent, right? 9. 10.
Yes, ma'am.
11. 12.
Yes, ma'am.
13. 14. 15.
Yes, ma'am.
16.
Yes, ma'am.
17.
Yes, ma'am.
18.
Yes, ma'am.
19.
Present, ma'am.
20.
Yes, ma'am.
21.
Yes, ma'am.
22,
Yes, ma'am.
23,
Yes, ma'am.
24,
Yes, ma'am.
25, 24 পর্যন্তই। আচ্ছা, 24 জন তোমরা ক্লাসে, বেসিক্যালি 22 জন, তাই তো? Okay. I can see one more person just entering now at the end of the class.
ম্যাম
Yes.
ম্যাম আমরা কি স্কিমিং সম্পর্কে বাসায় কি পড়বো, মানে হচ্ছে এটা কি হোমওয়ার্ক হবে?
Yes, you will be taught all the reading strategies, okay? And when we are done discussing all the reading strategies in the class, I will give you the material, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
You take down the notes if you want, and I think you should be, but we will discuss all the reading strategies. There are others. There's theming and